Have you never wondered why, when it's time to go out, something inside you twists as if an invisible force wanted to hold you between the walls of your home? You think it's fatigue. You think it's simple lack of desire. But in reality, it's your soul rebelling against a world that rips your mask off in bites. It's not that you don't want to go out. It's that every time you do, you die a little in silence. People say that staying home is for the weak, the cowardly, the strange. But tell me, isn't it more cowardly to obey the crowd and forget yourself? Carl Jung warned, "The greatest danger of man is to become a puppet of external noise. And that noise is the street, the bars, the empty conversations. When you choose to stay, your unconscious protects you from an unnecessary sacrifice, the surrender of your identity to the hunger of others. Do you know what happens when you ignore that inner voice? The unconscious makes you pay. It gives you disturbing dreams, fills you with anxiety, turns you into a stranger to yourself." Jung called it the revenge of the shadow. That shadow that feeds on everything you pretend to be outside, and that when you come back home, returns it multiplied in the form of emptiness. It's not that you don't want to go out. It's that going out brings you too close to your own abyss. Think about it. You walk down the street and feel that you belong nowhere. You're surrounded by people who smile, who seem to fit in. But you hear something different, an echo telling you that everything is a poorly staged play. And that's where fear appears. Not fear of people, but fear of realizing that what you hate is not others, but the mask you wear when you face them. That brutal discomfort is the soul refusing to prostitute itself on a foreign stage. The house becomes a temple, silence, a confessional, and every time you close the door, you shelter from an invisible war. Don't you notice? Outside, everything seems like movement, but in reality, it's pure emptiness disguised as noise. Jung said that whoever does not know his inner world projects his hell onto the outer one. Maybe that's why the street feels unbearable to you, because outside, everyone runs to escape themselves, and you see it, and seeing that is unbearable. The most unsettling thing is that staying home is not an excuse. It's a scream. It's your unconscious demanding space to reveal itself. And when you ignore it, the price is high. You disconnect, you wither, you become just another cog in the machine. But when you listen, when you dare not to go out, you discover that isolation is not confinement. It's transformation. Next time someone tells you that you should go out more, remember this. You're not lazy. You're not strange. You're not weak. What's happening is that your soul refuses to prostitute itself in a world that demands spectacle. Your refusal is the sign that inside you there is something that has not yet broken completely. Will you silence it? Or will you have the courage to listen? Because here lies the real terror. It's not that you don't want to go out. It's that if you do without listening to your soul, one day you'll wake up and discover that there's no one left at home. Not even you. And what if the most disturbing thing is not that you don't want to go out, but that your soul has already learned that there is nothing authentic out there for you? Jung said that modern man has lost contact with his symbols, with that which gives meaning to existence. And there is the key. The street is full of stimuli, but empty of meaning. The thundering music of a bar does not replace the inner music you forgot to hear. The deafening laughter of a group doesn't replace the voice of your unconscious, whispering to you in the dim light of your room. It is not rejection of life, it is rejection of the farce. When you decide not to go out, your unconscious is choosing the invisible over the superficial. It's an almost sacred movement. Because at home, in that closed space, appear the symbols that truly matter. A book that traps you, a thought that repeats itself, a dream that returns insistently. Each of those fragments is a door to the unconscious, to the wholeness Jung called the self. Outside, in contrast, the only thing you'll find is the demand to be someone you're not. But here's what's unsettling. Staying home is not always rest. Sometimes it is confrontation, because silence doesn't forgive. When the noise shuts off, your ghosts emerge. And if you don't know how to face them, those ghosts can become more terrifying than any crowd. Jung warned that the shadow does not disappear because you shut yourself in. On the contrary, it becomes louder. And maybe that's why many fear being alone at home. Because in that solitude, there are no disguises to uphold their lies. And now that we've made it this far, before we continue, I want to present the following to you. Our book, The Formula of Awakening, is now available. Do you feel like there's something inside you that wants to awaken, but you don't know where to start? Then I invite you to transform your way of thinking, and with it, your way of living. Discover who you can become. Start today. The link to get the ebook is in the first pinned comment of this video. Grab your copy now at a great price. With that said, let's continue with the video. And yet, that confrontation is necessary, because the true journey is never outward, but inward. Don't be mistaken. Shutting yourself in does not mean fleeing, it means preparing. Each instant in which you choose the refuge of your walls is a laboratory where transformation is cooked. It's there where the unconscious speaks with symbols, where inner images gain strength, where you can discover the true root of your fear. The world doesn't understand this. The world shouts, "Go out and have fun. Make friends. Be social," as if the worth of your existence were measured by how many times you step outside. But tell me, what kind of society fears silence so much? What kind of culture labels as sick the one who dares to listen to himself? Jung said that most people run outward to avoid facing their inner selves. You, on the other hand, have felt that outside there is nothing that quenches that thirst. And that is why you stay. Don't confuse isolation with weakness. Conscious isolation is alchemy. In it, the mask burns away, and the truth appears. And here is what's most disturbing. Maybe your soul chose that social discomfort as a defense mechanism, to force you to look at what you've always avoided, to put you in front of the mirror and rip off the bandages of your identity. The house becomes a prison only if you refuse to look within. But if you dare, it becomes a sanctuary. So it's not that you don't want to go out. It's that your soul knows that out there everything is a cheap performance, and that the only real thing is waiting in the most unsettling and most revealing place, inside yourself. But here there is something even darker that no one wants to admit. The real reason you can't stand going out is because you sense that the outside world is designed to distract you from the essential. Jung called it collective inflation, that kind of mass hypnosis in which everyone acts the same, thinks the same, desires the same, and believes they are choosing freely. You perceive it even if you can't explain it. You feel it as unbearable discomfort. That's why your body resists going out. Because outside, you run the risk of losing yourself in the current, of being devoured by the tide of the trivial. Think about it. Every time you step outside, you enter a theater of manufactured characters. Everyone talks about what they bought, what they saw on a screen, what they'll do tomorrow, but behind every word beats the same fear. The fear of being alone with themselves. That's why they push you to go out, because your presence serves as an excuse for them not to face their own silence. And you notice it. You notice that you are not free, that you're part of an absurd choreography where no one asks why they dance. That feeling is not paranoia, it is perception. Modern society glorifies the external and despises the internal. They applaud you if you are busy, if you run, if you produce, if you appear in photos. But they point at you as strange if you decide to stay with your thoughts. What they don't understand is that your soul doesn't seek distraction. It seeks depth. And depth is never in the lit streets. It's in the shadows of your inner world. Jung said that individuation, the process of becoming oneself, begins when you decide to stop obeying the herd. And staying home can be the first act of rebellion against the dictatorship of the superficial. But be careful. Staying inside can also become a trap if you use it to numb yourself. There is a difference between refuge and escape. Refuge is sacred. It prepares you to transform. Escape, on the other hand, freezes you. Do you know how to tell the difference? Refuge hurts. Escape numbs. If in your room uncomfortable questions arise, strange dreams, forgotten memories, you are in refuge. Your unconscious is working. If all that appears is an empty loop of distractions, then you've turned your home into a prison. What terrifies you is not the confinement, but the mirror, because inside you is everything you've buried for years: fears, repressed desires, truths you preferred to silence. Outside you can pretend they don't exist, but inside there's no escape. And here comes the brutal blow. That resistance to going out may be the clearest invitation you will ever receive to begin a journey into your own interior. A journey that few accept because they're terrified to discover who they are without masks, without an audience, without applause. So next time you feel that force that keeps you from crossing the door, don't interpret it as weakness. Interpret it as a reminder. Outside you'll find movement, but emptiness. Inside you'll find silence, but truth. And the most unsettling thing is that your soul already knows it. That's why it insists you don't go out. Because maybe the time has come to face the only thing you can never escape: yourself. And now listen carefully, because we've reached the point where everything comes together. The real mystery is not that you like staying home, but that this seemingly small choice is a portal to a brutal truth. Your soul can no longer endure the farce of an empty world. Outside you can disguise yourself, but inside it's impossible. And that impossibility is the beginning of your transformation. Do you feel it? It's not comfort, it's destiny. Jung said that the man who looks outward dreams, but the one who looks inward awakens. And you, without intending to, are already awakening. That rejection of the street is not a symptom, it's a calling to rebuild yourself, to stop being a character and become someone real. It's not isolation, it's rebirth. And rebirths always begin in darkness, always begin when you decide to close a door and listen to what most silence with noise. So here is the conclusion. What binds you to your home is not laziness, it's a secret pact with your own unconscious. It's the sign that you must dive into your shadow to recover your essence. Outside you can get lost 1,000 times, but inside you can find yourself just once, and it will be enough. The disturbing part is that not everyone is ready to take that step. You are, because if you've come this far, it means that something inside you has already shifted, and nothing will ever be the same again. And now I want to propose something. Write in the comments the phrase, "The shadow guides me," if you truly feel that this truth has resonated with you. Do it to remind yourself that you are not running away, that you are choosing the hardest and most authentic path. And subscribe, because what we're going to explore together are not simple ideas, but descents into the deepest parts of the mind. What comes next is even more unsettling, and you won't want to miss it. So, you know what? Don't go out just yet. Stay a little longer. Close the door, turn off the light, and let the words keep resonating inside you. Because what you heard here doesn't end when the video ends. It begins when you dare to silently look into your own soul. And now, until next time, or perhaps I should say, until the next descent.